Talk Real Estate with Sharon McNamara, sponsored by Boston Connect Real Estate Services.
Hi, I'm your host, Sharon McNamara, and you are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. Let me share a little bit about my background before we get started. I am the broker-owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, a boutique firm that is home to over 30 real estate sales and marketing agents who service home buyers and home sellers throughout Boston, the South Shore, the South Coast, and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives by taking a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe that every move should be a moving experience. Every week, my co-host Melissa Wallace and I will provide you with my team's unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We value the experience of our agents at Boston Connect Real Estate so much that not only will you hear my perspective on real estate topics, occasionally you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of our experienced agents at Boston Connect Real Estate. Be a part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you like to listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with me at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate.
And hello to all my South Shore neighbors. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Melissa Wallace, and I am joined in studio by the one and only Emmie Flaherty.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Emmie, you are a full-time realtor here at Boston Connect Real Estate, and I'm going to give you a moment to reintroduce yourselves to all of our listeners because you have been on the show before.
I have.
You have, okay. But just reintroduce yourselves to all of our listeners, and then we'll get into our topic.
Wonderful. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your commute home. My name is Emmie Flaherty. I am a full-time realtor here at Boston Connect Real Estate. I live in Pembroke, and obviously our office is here in Pembroke, and proudly serve the South Shore and more. So if you need any help in this market, please feel free to reach out. You can reach me on my cell at 781-217-4580.
And you are currently submitting an offer right this second as we speak.
I am. Honestly, I'm going back and forth.
It's been a whirlwind of a day.
It has. It has. When a good property comes on the market, people are out there. Do not let headlines fool you.
Yeah, and Sharon is not joining us tonight because Sharon is dealing with all of the offers that we are talking about. So I did submit an offer for myself today. Emmie has submitted an offer, and I think there are a couple of agents in our office that have submitted offers too. So, I mean, who knows? It might be Boston Connect's,
I know.
day.
I know. I feel like this might come down to an arm wrestling competition.
I know. If it was a thumb war, I would win because I've never lost a thumb war.
Really? I lose concentration on that. So I would lose a thumb war.
I mean, I don't have a ton of concentration when it comes to anything else, but if thumb wars, I've never lost. So if it comes down to me and anybody else, I'm challenging them to a thumb war.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not thumb warring it.
Does that mean you're backing out?
No.
Okay.
I will come up with a different competition and some reason why we can't thumb wrestle.
It is, and it is a competition because we will let everybody know. I think Sharon has 22 offers now, so it's crazy out there.
It is, and that's kind of our topic tonight. I mean, tonight we are discussing a market update for those of you out there that are listening and considering selling because like many things
there's a lot of buyers out there.
There's a lot of buyers, and there's a lot of very negative headlines, which I think everyone listening can relate to. So
Well, so yesterday, Emmie and I, along with, 8 other agents here at the office, we went to a Tom Ferry event. So if you don't know who Tom Ferry is, he is one of the leading sort of real estate gurus, moguls, whatever. And he does trainings and he travels the world. He writes books. He does podcasts. He does everything, invests in everything that he believes is a great business. And he sort of talked about it yesterday of all these businesses that he's involved in. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could keep up with that. Like,
I don't know.
I'm
how
sure he has a whole team of people that keep up with it for him. But me, I'm just like, oh gosh,
I know.
I'm just trying to buy one house, and you're like buying the whole world.
I know. He's all over the place.
Yeah, but we went to a conference yesterday all day in Newton, and there were some chatters, talks about what's going on in the market. And I think the question yesterday was like, when people ask you what's going on in the market, what they really mean is, like, is my equity safe? Like,
right.
So when we get asked that question, we know what you really are asking, not how the market is, but how you are doing in the market, even when you're not selling your house.
Exactly.
But we want you to sell your house, and we're going to give you some good reasons why, right tonight?
Exactly, we are. There's so much going on, and it's not just real estate. I think we can all relate to the fact that there are a lot of negative headlines. So
yeah.
After yesterday's inspirational seminar and the fact that Sharon has a listing in Halifax with 22 offers,
yep.
You can look at a headline that says, market this and market that, but the reality is we have 22 offers on a house in Halifax as of this moment. So
yeah, I mean, we promoted it on the show last week. I know, Sharon did the show with Jasmine on Saturday because I have a fractured ankle, so I've been hobbling around for the past couple of days. But we're just talking about, yes, there are so many buyers in this market and there's not a lot of inventory, but I think that you have even brought to the attention of all of your followers, I know on social media because I follow you, that there are options, and I know we're not specifically talking about that stuff tonight, but there are options to get your offer accepted. We just need sellers. So let's
exactly. That's why we're here.
Yeah, that's why we're here. So we're going to talk about, updating you on the market and why right now is a great time to sell. I said this morning to Rob when I called into WATD. I said, I always tell people the right time to sell is when it's the right time for you. But we've been sort of turning the tables on our Tuesday nights, our round table Tuesday nights, and having all of our agents come on and just sort of give their perspective and, with the topics. I know you came up with the topic tonight. I just touched you.
That's okay. I forgive you.
I touched you. We, just getting different perspectives from different agents in our office. And, I want to get your perspective on why right now is a good time to sell. Absolutely.
I'm ready for it.
All right. So why? What are some of the advantages of selling right now?
So right now, we're in New England, okay? So it's a seasonal market, as everybody knows. There are a lot of opportunities right now. There are people that are saying, oh, nobody's going to buy before the holidays. Well, let me tell you, as we've already said, there are 22 offers on a house in Halifax, so people are going to buy it before the holidays. They are waiting for something to come on the market in their price range that works for them. So if you are out there thinking, I'll wait till spring, well, guess what? You and many other people are thinking that, and you might be doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm telling sellers that there is less competition. I posted it to my social media today, but we are still seeing incredibly low inventory numbers. And a lot of that is, I think the people lack the confidence of knowing that, they can sell in this market right now.
Yeah. And I know the question is like, where would I go? And, the first step is to get an evaluation on your house, because even if you're not planning on selling right now, it is good to know that, you have equity in your house. It is good to know that if you do, for some reason, have to sell in the next few months, gauging, what goes on in the market and how it can go up and down, you sort of have an idea of where you're at. And especially, right now, where even if you did find something that you wanted to purchase, like, you still need to know sort of where you're at before you can move forward. So I would say the first step is, even if today you don't want to sell, tomorrow you don't want to sell, have someone come out and just give you an evaluation. At least you know the process,
right?
For when, and start the conversation with your realtor and get that sort of relationship started with them, because I don't get how people just call someone up out of the blue and say, hey, can you sell my house?
Right.
But it does happen. But for me, it's such an important decision. I would want to, if I was selling a house, I would want to have a relationship with my realtor, because it's a big decision. But like I said, the first step, I guess, would be to just even reach out to a realtor, even if you weren't even
Right.
wanting to sell right this second, even though we want you to.
Well, and the other thing too is that there's a lot of different types of people out there. Like, I am somebody who, like, on a whim could decide to sell my house tomorrow. Like, that's just my type of personality. You might find out tomorrow, oh, hey, you know, my partner has been offered a great opportunity in Miami, and I'm, you know, it's New England weather's coming up, and we're going to Miami.
We're going to Miami.
You know, things change, and we get that. Unfortunately, you know, family passes, and you may have, you know, their home that you're responsible for selling. You might have a relocation. You may decide to part ways with a partner. I mean, these are all things that happen in life. So if these things are going on right now, I personally, as your realtor, would say that you are in an advantageous time right now.
Yeah. And I think that towards the end of the year, you see quicker timelines. So there are a lot of buyers out there that can close quickly. Yes, people are, you know, buyers are still, some of them at least, are waiving certain things and being, you know, trying to put themselves in a position where they can close quickly if that's what the seller wants, because life happens. Sometimes people have to sell their house pretty quickly,
right?
You know, and towards the end of the year, you know, buyers, they want to get into a house before it gets really bad with snow. They want to get into the house before the holidays start. They want to get into the house before the beginning of the year. So if you're looking for sort of a quick close, timeline wise, buyers tend to do shorter timelines.
Right.
Do you agree?
Yes, I do. And I think that brings up something else we should talk about. We can use you as an example. A lot of people out there, if you're listening and you've been in your home for 10, 15, or 20 years, you know, your thought process might be, well, gee, guys, I'm listening to what you're saying, but it takes 6 weeks or so to sell my home. I can tell you, and Melissa can tell you, that, you know, the number one thing that I am talking to my buyers about right now is, even though there's still competition out there as a buyer, there are ways that you can make your offer stronger. And one of them is your timeline.
Yeah.
So like Mel, for example, she's working with a lender that can close in, she told you, what, 3 weeks?
Yeah, not even. It could be shorter than that, but you know, it really, my first question is almost always, you know, timeline wise, what are the sellers looking for? Because there was a house that I put an offer in on. It was vacant. I thought for sure that they'd want a shorter timeline, but again, I don't know who they are. So I asked the question, and they said no. The listing agent said they actually, you know, can't close too quickly. You know, gave me a range of the times and stuff, and so I was going to close in 2 weeks, but I was like, oh, well, no, I'll give them, you know, 30 days and then we can reevaluate or whatever. So you don't know unless you ask the question.
Exactly.
So it's good not to assume, because
exactly,
you know what happens when you assume.
You certainly do. And that's the thing. So, you know, if you're out there, you find out, okay, you know, I've got to relocate, or I have to do this, that, or the other, or you know what, I just want to be out of this home and start my new journey, and wherever it is that you're going by Christmas, that is feasible.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a timeline is definitely an important factor, but it's the other parts of an offer. And I feel like maybe one day we can do a show, and Emmie, you can join me, about like really get into an offer and like what it looks like and what it means to, you know, because it comes in sections.
It does. I dissect it. Like I literally have this winning offer guide, and what it is, it's a 10-page document, but it is fun. It's got pictures. It breaks down the offer. Like, you know, I call it, we fill in the blanks, but there's more than one blank, and it's not just what you're offering for a price. It's the timeline. It's when are you going to sign the purchase and sale. It's a lot of things. How much money are you bringing to the table? So I would love to do that.
Yeah, we'll have to pick a time before the end of the year.
Yes, definitely.
Because I have a couple shows I have to fill.
Right.
Tuesdays are my responsibility now.
I volunteer. I love a good Tuesday night in the studio. But yeah, so if you're out there and you're listening, and maybe it's not situational, maybe you're just like, okay, well, you know, Aunt Fern told me that now is a scary time to sell and I should just stay put. But, you know, my older mother or father or whomever is struggling to get up the stairs and could really use a first floor master. And, you know, we're just on the fence. We hear we can get a lot, but we're not sure, and we're nervous, and the headlines. That's what we're here for.
Well, I kept hearing all about the headlines yesterday. So when we were at the conference, it's like all these headlines are scaring people.
Right.
You know, and for the most part, I feel like all these headlines are like nationwide or like maybe statewide. Like, oh, state of Massachusetts is blah, 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 blah. But like, something selling, or I'm just going to use Pembroke as an example, something selling in Pembroke might be different than selling in the Berkshires or selling in, you know, in Boston itself. You know, so every single sort of county, even town, is different. And it's important to have a realtor who knows the market.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I mean, you know, yes, there is negative news out there, but we're here to bring you some of the positive. And truthfully, you know, anyone listening, if you've worked with a Boston Connect agent, if you've worked with me, one thing that you will find unanimously throughout this office is that we are very honest, ethical people. We are not going to tell you to sell if it's not the right time for you to sell.
Sharon has convinced a lot of people in her life to not sell.
Right. So our talk tonight isn't, hey, give us a call right now and put your home on the market. Our topic tonight is kind of like, let's talk about it. If you've been thinking about selling and you're not sure what's holding you up other than maybe some negative headlines or the fact that you've heard that rates have gone up, yeah, there are some very entry-level buyers out there that when they run their numbers, you know, hypothetical numbers, hey, I want to offer this on a starter home, and, you know, can you combine it with interest rates and what I would have to put down? Some of those numbers that they're seeing are too much and too overwhelming, and yes, they are walking away. But then you have other people out there. I have clients that, you know, sold or gave up their rental. They're in short-term rentals. They're sitting on a bunch of cash, and they're just waiting for a home to come on, and they are out there.
Yeah.
So, you know, those people are not making the headlines, but they're out there in, you know, seasonal winter rentals, and they're just waiting for a lovely home to come on that matches what they're looking for.
Yeah. If you want to join in on the discussion, you can give George a call in the studio, 781-837-4900. We are also live on Facebook, so be sure to follow Boston Connect Real Estate. Emmy, you should share it too, so follow Emmy on social media too. But if you're too shy to call into the studio, you can put in a question on Facebook Live too.
You can.
So advantages of selling now. Any additional points we want to add to that before we move on?
Less competition as far as sellers. So there are people that are going to wait till spring. They want to get through the holidays. They have this, that, or the other, so they're going to wait. I say don't wait, you know, unless there's specific reasons. I think now is an excellent time. You are still going to get, as long as you're working with a skilled agent, you are still going to get multiple offers and really see some activity. The next thing would be, yes, some buyers are leaving the market. They're typically entry-level buyers that, you know, see prices are a little more than they want to spend right now, but there's a lot of other buyers still out there.
Yeah. I mean, I can, you know, tell everybody my story and give my sort of perspective as a buyer in this market. There was a point yesterday when I'm having a conversation with everybody after the conference. I think you had already left. We stayed and had a drink, and, you know, I was just sitting there just being like, I feel like I don't even know. Like, I can't put into words. And like, just put it into words. How do you feel? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, this is such a new experience. Like, Mary was so kind to tell me a couple weeks ago that it was my 1-year anniversary of my first offer. And I'm like, 7 offers later, I'm just like, when's it gonna happen? Where is it? You know? And there was a point last night where I was like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? What am I doing? But I was like, no, I'm not gonna give up. No, this is what I want. I'm not going to give up. So I'm one of those buyers that now I have been serious for the past year, but now I'm even more hungry. Now I want it even more. So I'm like, okay, come on. Let's bring another one in. Like, this is the time, you know, where buyers in their journey, they're either going to decide, are they sticking it out and they're going to, you know, offer what they can because the rates are fluctuating. You know, every house is different. Every offer you put in is different. So sometimes you do this, sometimes you do that. But are you going to stick it out, or are you going to say, okay, maybe I should rent. Maybe I should do this. Maybe, you know, but for me, I'm like, no, Like, I'm sticking it out. And there's plenty of other buyers that are sticking it out because guess what? I'm up against 22 people tonight.
Right.
You know?
And this brings my next topic. Like, those of you that are listening, listen to how serious she is. There are still very serious buyers out there. The people that were kind of, we call them looky-loos, which, you know, I just get a laugh out of, so I call it that. But there are looky-loos out there. Some people just like to pop in and out of open houses to see what's out there, and that's great. But those people typically, you know, disappear at this time. And the people that you're seeing coming in are the people like Melissa that have just celebrated their 1-year anniversary of looking. And
that is not another anniversary I want to celebrate.
No.
I'll celebrate any other anniversaries, but that is not an anniversary I want to celebrate again. I want to be in a house before my 2-year anniversary comes in.
Right. So when you see those headlines that say that, you know, buyers are scared because of rates, you're hearing one right now that isn't. And there are a lot of people just like her. So, you know, that's something to take into consideration. And those of you that don't know me, one of my side hobbies is you know, obviously I match people with houses for a living, but I also like to match, you know, friends with single friends because I like everybody to.
I was like, you're like a matchmaker too.
I just love it. You know, I expect them all to work out? No, but you know, it's like a nice way. So why don't we see who's out there and who's listening that might have a home match for you?
Oh my God. I literally thought you were going to be like, why don't we see if there's a single guy out there listening?
Well, we could do that too, but where this is real estate related,
like my heart just sank. I was like, is she really gonna
maybe on
me out
another
like this?
platform? But I'm thinking like for a home match. What are you looking for, Mel? Somebody out there is listening and is like, my grandmother or my grandfather might have that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because 2 weeks ago I got a call on the air. I was with Sue Bollinger, who is a full-time realtor here at Boston Connect Real Estate. A woman had called in and, you know, was telling me about her house that she has for sale in Marshfield, and then she reached out to WATD and was like, I need her direct number. And we talked. It was a little above my price range, but I still appreciated it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm in Plymouth County looking for something 2 to 3 bedrooms, preferably a ranch or something that has, you know, a basement, just like every other person in my price range. So something under, you know, 425, something under that. But yeah, I mean, the competition is out there, and I get that. I feel it every time I put in an offer. Again, I've put in 7 now, but you know, it's definitely. Like I said, I'm not giving up. You know,
Good.
And even though the rates have increased, and I've sort of had to take a step back and say, okay, you know, is this something that I can do on my own? Because there are some times where I'm like, what am I doing? Like, yeah, I'm doing this on my own, like, which is great. But then I'm like, I'm doing this on my own. Like, what am I doing? But no, I'm not giving up. No. So if you have a house in Plymouth County that you want to sell to me, give me a call.
Right. And if it's not the house for Melissa, it's a house for a lot of people, let me tell you.
Well, someone actually reached out to me too the same week. And because I had said that at one point I was looking for a multifamily, which again, if an opportunity arises, then yeah, I would jump on that as well. They had reached out to me and said, oh, I heard that you were looking for a multifamily. I have a lead, you know, in a town that you're looking in. So, you know, that was cool. So if you have one of those too, give me a call.
Exactly.
But yeah. But you have buyers too. So
I do. Well, I mean, what you're
you're
describing matches. I have buyers.
Yeah, and I think 4 other agents in our office that have put in an offer on this house, on Sharon's house, has buyers in that same price range. You know, I get it. There's a lot of competition. But like I said, you can't give up. You just got to keep on going. Keep on putting in the offers. And so this is more towards, you know, the buyers that might be discouraged. But
right. I know. But for the sellers that are listening or those that are contemplating selling, I mean, this is, you know, what we are still experiencing. And as of today, I mean, right before I came in here, I finished up that offer and added it to Sharon's collection of offers. So it is definitely happening out there. I have buyers very excited about this, but I have buyers that are shopping just shy of $1 million, and they're still looking. So, I mean, you know, rates are what rates are, but that does not necessarily stop the market. We still have limited inventory, and we still have a lot of buyers, and they're sitting and waiting for that property match to come along. So I encourage you, at the very least, to have a discussion with your realtor, to kind of see what you have for equity. At the very least, you can feel good about knowing what, your home is worth right now.
Yeah. I want to talk about seasonal advantages. So
Yes.
in the fall and winter months, yes, we see lower inventory. We've been seeing lower inventory, so that I think will continue on. But again, it's the really serious buyers that are out there and that are not giving up. They're still going to be out there in snowstorms. Like, I have new tires on my car. Like, I'm ready. I have
Right.
snow. I have the snow thing on my car. Like, I can go. I'll be there. You know, I'll figure it out. Mark
Right.
McNamara will be right on my tail. He'll
Yes,
come
he
too.
will.
He's got a plow.
Yes,
He will be at my showings. But it's the serious buyers are coming out in those elements because they want a house. They're ready for a house.
Yeah.
And with fewer inventory, yes, you're still probably gonna, if the house is priced according to the condition that it's in, it is going to be priced right, and you're gonna get
Interest.
You're going to get
Yes.
interest. So, yes, fewer houses on the market. I think more serious buyers. And during that time, people are relocating.
They are.
Not everybody not everybody gets the ability to stay in one place forever in a day.
Right.
There are relocation things. Not everybody's working from home. Some people still have to, go to work and go into an office or whatever, and they are being relocated. Sharon has always said this on the show. A lot of the relocation is probably on a higher price point. So, if you have a higher priced home, or you believe your home is on the higher end of pricing, it's a great time to put your house on the market.
It is. And, that brings to point another thing. I have buyers. They actually, right near us here at the office, they just had a baby, like within the past 2 weeks, baby number 2. So me, in mom mode, said to them, I just sent a text, congratulations, blah, blah. I know that you're in cramped quarters, but I'm assuming that with the new addition that you're probably going to want to wait until spring, get acquainted with being a family of 4, etc. And the text I got back was like, are you kidding me? We are out of space. We are so ready to go. We have been waiting. Like, doesn't matter. Like, we're throwing everything in boxes as soon as we find a place to go.
Yeah.
So just like Melissa, there are people out there and waiting, and they're waiting for that inventory.
Yeah. And I think a lot of buyers might be concerned with a home sale contingency. You have something to sell while you're purchasing something. No, who cares?
Right.
Like, honestly, if everything else in your offer is great, then, a seller can accept that. We've been seeing it.
Right. Well, that's a perfect example. So Faith Birmingham, who's a full-time realtor here at Boston Connect, very good friend of mine, love her dearly. She's in that situation. She has people that they weren't actually they were looking, put it that way, but they weren't like, we need to go now. It was just they're looking for maybe, their, as Sharon would say, right sizing. Something came along, beautiful log cabin. They said to Faith, hey, take us out there, let us see it. They saw it. Faith submitted an offer for them. They have a home to sell, and they still got their offer accepted.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. And, that's another thing where, now I'm on this headlines kick, but we did go through a period where if you had something to sell and you wanted to buy, it was extremely difficult. But we are seeing some more flexibility now with that. So if you are out there and you're like, okay, ladies, we hear you, we're thinking about selling, but you haven't really covered the fact that we also need somewhere to go.
Yeah.
It is doable. Faith just did it this past week. She, to her credit, got their house listed right away. She had showings this past weekend. All things look great for them.
And I think she has an accepted offer on there.
She does. Yeah. She posted today. She accepted an offer.
Yeah, she's got an accepted offer on it, because, again, you can tell. I didn't even see the house, but you can tell by pictures when something is priced according to it.
Exactly.
And she got great interest in it, and she was able to accept an offer today. And she went to the conference with us yesterday.
I know.
She's killing it.
I know, and that is the
And I
thing.
think at one point last night, Mary turned to me and goes, I love Faith.
I know. She's just the best, you know? So,
She is. She's so great.
We have such a great group of people here. And the thing is, we all take pride in what we do, and we are not going to do something, you know, half-hearted. You know, we all go all in. So, you know, we work together. You know, we have a great group of, you know, resources, and she got it done. She had it on the market. She had a timeline. She got it done, and these folks are thrilled.
Yeah. I mean, it is possible to have a home sale contingency. You know, don't go off of the headlines. And that was something that I definitely took away from yesterday. And I didn't realize that maybe I do even myself, because sometimes I need a reality check and be like,
we all do.
Hey, like, stop reading all this stuff, because if you're not in it, you don't know it.
Right, exactly. And it's true. You know, we're here telling you that, you know, we have a listing in Halifax with 22 offers on it. So, you know, you check the headlines tomorrow and then think about what we said tonight, and you're going to see that, you know, there's definitely some discrepancies.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about serious buyers. So as a listing agent, when you're going through offers, can you tell when you can, like, a serious buyer compared to, like, a not so serious buyer? For sure. Why?
Lots of things. First thing I look at, you know, it also comes down to the agent, because how your agent represents you as a buyer is huge.
Yeah.
So, you know, if they say, you know, my client has been looking for a while, my client can close in 3 weeks. My client can do this, that, or the other. You know, how they present your offer tells me, like, okay, you know, you guys have been working together, you have a relationship, and the terms that you've set forth in this contract show me that, you know, your realtor knows what they're doing and they've represented you well.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, if you are a buyer out there and you have a pre-approval and it's not dated within the past month, if your agent hasn't told you that you need to talk to your lender and get an updated pre-approval, then that's, like, to me, if I'm going through, like, if I'm Sharon right now and I'm going through these 22 offers, I am going to look at every single pre-approval and the date on that pre-approval.
And the lender should be saying something to you, too.
Exactly.
You know? And that's just from personal experience, again, because when the rates hit 8, Jasmine was like, hey, just as an FYI, this is a strategy. This is something, you know, like, and I'm like, okay, yeah, okay.
Right.
I trust you. And then she was on the show on Saturday, and I'm like, don't say anything about my offer.
Right. Well, and so here's the thing. So if you're out there and you're listening and you're like, why does the date on a letter matter? Here is why. So rates have like been ticking up and ticking up. So if you talk to somebody, if you talk to a lender 3 months ago and they gave you a pre-approval and you're still walking around with that letter, that tells me as a list agent that, one, you haven't checked in with your lender, because they would have encouraged you to submit an updated pre-approval. If you are, or at least get an updated letter. If you haven't heard from your lender and you have a letter that's several months old, maybe you want to have that discussion. Hey, you know, where are rates at? I'm still out. Hey, I'm still out here and I'm shopping. Yeah. I mean, the lenders that I work with, I talk to them on a weekly basis and say, hey, you know, we're working with Chris, and Chris is still out there shopping. When is the most recent date on his pre-approval letter? Because that tells me, okay, you know, Chris has checked in with his lender. Chris knows what the current rate is. Chris knows, you know, what, hypothetically, like, if you say to your lender, hey, I'm thinking about buying a $400,000 house in such and such town, they can give you a pretty good estimate of what your monthly mortgage payment's going to be.
Yeah.
If you haven't had that discussion, then all you're doing when you're submitting me an outdated, so to speak, pre-approval letter is that you don't even know what you're going to be paying month to month for this house.
Yeah.
And that tells me, I'd say to my client, like, this person hasn't really done their due diligence.
It's so funny because last week when I talked to Jasmine, so Jasmine Glasgow with Maritime Mortgage, she is my lender. She was on the show with Sharon on Saturday. So if you want to listen to that show, you can go to talkrealestateroundtable.com or go to your podcast app and search for that show. But last week when I talked to her, I just called her and I'm like, yeah, so I'm thinking about putting in an offer on, you know, Sharon's property. It's not coming on until next week. I wasn't going to submit an offer beforehand. And I was just talking it through with her, and Jasmine knows that my monthly payment after closing is what's most important to me.
Exactly.
Because, again, like I said and have been saying, I'm doing this on my own. So if I can't rely on the income that I'm making, I know what I can do for monthly budgeting. And, you know, if I can't do it, I can't do it. And I can't be upset about that. But I had said to her, she was like, oh, well, what are you thinking for price? And I was like, oh, well, this is what I'm thinking for price, because I'm thinking maybe with the rates now. And she's like, I have taught you so well.
I
She
know.
was like right on the money. It was like a $2,000 difference, like, with the price point or whatever. And I was like, I'm so good. I'm like, you are so good. You have taught me, like, okay, yeah, no, this is like, I sort of predicted, like, okay, this is where I'm going to be comfortable with. This is what I think that the price is going to be, whatever. But yeah, it's so important to have those conversations with your lender because, yeah, the last time I put in an offer, I was at the rates were at 7%. Now they're at 8%.
Right.
That's a big difference.
There is. And so, okay, if you're listening and you're like, okay, I mean, who would go to a rental and say, hey, I really like this property, but you don't know what you're paying per month?
Yeah.
So, hey, I really like it and I'd like to live here.
That's a good
and
analogy.
I have money to put down, but
Yeah.
I'm going to give you that money and then we'll sign some stuff. And then after we sign some stuff, you tell me what you're going to charge me every month.
Yeah.
Do you know how many of those people are going to be like, oh, wait, oh, no, I don't like that number.
Yeah.
Bye. Give me back my deposit. I'm gone.
Yeah.
So as a listing agent, none of us want to put our clients in that situation. Yeah. We want to bring you the most solid offer that we can. And yes, it comes down to a date on a pre-approval letter.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why when you go to the supermarket, the price is right underneath it because you know exactly what you're going to be paying for it. Like, why wouldn't you do that with a house too?
Right. I say to every single client when they say, hey, okay, we tore a property together. They say they'd like to put in an offer. We talk about offer price. My very next question is, did you talk to your lender and ask them what your monthly mortgage payment is going to be after closing?
Yeah.
And I have trained my buyers. So like, they're like, oh yeah, we had that discussion. I'm comfortable with it. Okay, great. But if you're out there and you're listening and you've been submitting offers and you have no idea what you're going to be paying monthly if that offer gets accepted, please don't.
Please don't.
I know. Please don't.
I was chuckling when you first started because you were talking about like other agents and stuff like that. And, obviously I submitted an offer on Sharon's listing. And even before I did, I told her, I was like, by the way, like, I can't help you with any of this stuff. Like, I just didn't feel comfortable, especially with so many agents in our office submitting offers. I was like, I don't want my DNA on this at all. And then this morning, I was like, FYI, I have decided to put in an offer. So, like, really, like, can't say anything, can't be a part of this, nothing. And everybody knows, like, I always help, put together offers for her and stuff like that. And so today she's doing it all on her own, and I just hear groaning and I just know that like the groaning is from like some offers coming in that like maybe the agent or something in the offers is just like, what?
I know.
What? Like,
I know.
because there is a difference between a real estate professional and a real estate agent.
That is 100% true. And you know what? Like, it's just all about being educated. Like, I love numbers. I like to know numbers. I like to talk numbers, which is why if you call me for a price on your home, what you have for equity, I'm not going to start breathing down your neck to sell because it's really situational. And some people just like to know. I would like to know what my home is worth right now. So I get it. But, if you're out there and you're not hearing from your lender frequently, or, you haven't had this kind of conversation with your agent, then maybe that's why you're not getting where you want to be in this market.
Yeah. And the real estate professionals that are in this industry are working with multiple sellers. They're working with multiple buyers. So, they know what it's like to be a buyer in this market. They know what it's like to be a seller in this market. Sharon has always said, you got to be full-time in this industry.
100%.
This is not an industry to just do just because you feel like, helping out one person doing this, whatever. Like, no, this is something that we have to dedicate our lives to. It's your livelihood.
Yeah.
And you've made the decision to make this your life,
right.
and you have been all consuming with your clients, and it's also the things that you do on the side too, all your little events that I go to. Oh, this is me at Emmie's events. Speaking of wanting to know the price of everything, I don't even look at them when I'll be honest. I'm just like, oh, I like that. I'll take that. Can I Venmo you?
I know, right? Well, our
these
markets
little events that you did, the market events.
Yes, I love to have the market events here in front of the office because we're right in the center of town, and I just love to support the community. There's very few people out there that are still making things by hand and producing them, and when we can have them here and kind of showcase them, it's such a beautiful setting and help them make some sales. I absolutely love that. So
I want to talk about multiple offers because we only have 8 minutes or so left. So I know we have an event this weekend that we want to promote, and I want to give you an opportunity to give your contact information out to everybody. But multiple offers, what are some strategies for sellers to generate multiple offers on a property, and then also, benefits of receiving multiple offers as a seller?
Absolutely. I love that question. As a seller, to get multiple offers, you need to make sure that you have priced your home correctly. Mm-hmm. I literally, this is my term. I'm not a dramatic person, but I do use this term. I tell every single seller and buyer that if a home is overpriced in this market, it is what I refer to as the kiss of death. Mm-hmm. It does not matter. There could be absolutely nothing wrong with your home, but if you have put a very aggressive price on it, people are not comfortable just due to the way the market has, performed the past couple of years. People are not comfortable offering less than asking. I have suggested it to my buyers. Some have listened, and we have gotten fortunate, but for the most part, it just seems like psychology. People are not comfortable. They don't want to offend a seller, mm-hmm. and they just think, I'm not going to do that. Right. Yeah. It just, for whatever reason, personally, do I think it's odd? Yes, but that is just the way that it is. So if you overprice your home, people see it sitting on the market. There's a couple of very nice homes here in Pembroke, for example, that are sitting, and I have been in them. And truthfully, no home inspection has been performed, but just from my eyes and the homes that I have been in, I don't perceive anything to be wrong with those homes. Mm-hmm. They haven't gone under contract, so that means that they haven't yet had a home inspection performed. So all that is telling me is that the price is too high and people are scared. Yeah. Because I might know as a realtor it's too high. I might tell my client it's too high, but they say that home has been on the market for 30 plus days in this market where there's still a lot of buyers, so something must be wrong with mm-hmm. it, and they will not entertain it. Yeah. So if you want multiple offers, you have to trust us. We want you to get the most money because that makes us look good, and mm-hmm. we are happy for you that, we were able to bring you in, 20, 30, 40, 50 plus thousand over asking. If you overprice it, you are unlikely to get an offer, if that, or multiple. Yeah. And if you are, what was the other half of your question? If you're, how do I handle multiple offers? Yeah. Okay. So if you do have multiple offers, again, it comes down to, when was the pre-approval letter issued? Was it recent? Because that tells me that you've checked in with your lender and mm-hmm. your team. And then it comes down to, what are you putting down for a down payment? I mean, to be honest, the more you are putting down towards a home, the more that it demonstrates your desire to buy that home. Mm-hmm. And I know that you're out there. I am in the same boat as you, but those of you that are listening that are like, I can barely come up with the 3%, I 100% understand. Well, I have those clients too. I go to bat for them. Yeah. But if you're out there and you're sitting on a bunch of cash and you're wondering how much do I put down, I say at least do the minimum or the suggested minimum of 5%. If you're in the other boat, then, I'll go to bat for you when I'm writing up my offer. But, when you can close, how much you can put down, when your pre-approval letter was issued, and is your lender going to check in with me, like you said? I know tomorrow Jasmine would pick up the phone, but, Sharon already knows she's going to hear from her. I tell every single lender working with my clients, I submitted an offer for, Bob and Sue, and I need you to call. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, long story short, there are buyers out there. Yes. And there are buyers. Right. And if you would like multiple offers and you would like to get top dollar for your home, now is still a very good time. Mm-hmm. And how can people get in touch with you? Because they are going to want an analysis on their home. Well, I sure hope so. Yeah. But I am all over social media. But if you would prefer the phone, I do answer the phone. It is 781-217-4580. And for those of you that are allergic to the phone, you can text me, you can email me. I am on Instagram, I am on Facebook, and I am dabbling in the waters of TikTok. So. Do you think that you'll generate business from TikTok? I wonder. I don't know, but it's kind of fun to be it's fun, yeah. It's fun to, because right? you do so many great videos anyways that I feel like TikTok would be the next best avenue for you. Yeah, it just seems fun. I feel, honestly, I feel like I'm trendy with TikTok, even though I feel like the next time you're on the show, we got to do a video together. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry,
Let's talk about
Samantha's
Saturday.
Samantha's getting the boot because I know you do the videos with her, but
That's okay. I do videos with anyone. If you want to do a video, you give me a call.
but just give your number one more time for our listeners and how they can get in touch with you.
781-217-4580.
Perfect. Yes, this Saturday we are hosting our second annual dog costume parade and contest. We have a lot of great prizes. We have a lot of great judges this year. So there's 3 judges: Chief of Police in Pembroke, Fire Chief in Pembroke, and Audrey Costa, who is like Mother Hen here.
She is.
She's Sharon's mother. They're going to be judges at our, again, second annual Halloween dog costume parade and contest. We do have a waiver to sign because there are dogs here.
Yes.
So we have a waiver to sign, so be sure to go on social media. So Boston Connect Real Estate, McNamara Horton Group. I know, Emmie, you have shared it as well, and you'll share it again, correct?
Of course.
We have a private, or not private, it's public. We have a public event on Facebook too. So even if you go to Boston Connect Real Estate, you'll see it's pinned right at the top. You can just click on that, and it'll bring you right to the page, and you can read all about it. You can see the pictures from last year. But that's this Saturday, October 28th, from 12 to 2. We are doing our show live in the morning too. So our Saturday show is now from 8 to 9. I'll probably go and get my nails done, and then I'll come back and set up for the dog trot.
Right.
But yeah, so again, dog costume parade and contest this Saturday, October 28th, 12 to 2.
Yes, and if you're one of those people, I am one of them. I have a friendly dog and I have a non-friendly dog.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you have non-friendly dogs, I still encourage you to come because we will have collars by Tanya, who's a local collar maker. We have Mozzie Munch, who is a local dog treat maker. We have a dog trainer coming.
Yeah, we have a lot of great vendors.
We have a lot of great vendors. So there's something for everyone, and we would love to see you.
Yeah, and we'd love to see your little pups in their costumes.
I know,
we
it's
had
so
many.
cute.
I don't know how many we had, like 30 pups last year.
I don't know. And
30
side note, I learned last year you might want to try your dog's costume on before the day of.
Oh, yeah. So if you already have the costume, try it on.
Yes.
But again, this Saturday, 12 to 2, we'd love to see you.
Yeah, please
But
come.
thank you so much, Emmie, for joining me. And then
Anytime.
we already have a topic for our next show. So
We do.
Yeah. And thank you guys for listening. Talk Real Estate Roundtable. Again, we have our parade this Saturday, October 28th, 12 to 2. Thank you so much, Emmie.
Yes, thank you. And check us out on Facebook. Lots of good stuff going on.